Hey, this is Amethyst, and I'm going to be talking about one of the most basic, but in my opinion, most wonderful ingredients for magic and witchcraft, namely salt. So, salt has been used in magic and witchcraft for literally centuries. There are references to it in ancient grimoires and manuscripts from a lot of different sources and places. So, it's super powerful and a very versatile magical ingredient. Salt can be used to purify and cleanse, to protect against negative energy, as well as to bring good luck. And we think salt is a substance that every magical practitioner should have on hand. Bonus is that it's affordable and really easy to find. So according to the law of sympathy, salt is connected to blood, and blood is considered to be our sort of vital life force fluid. So blood tastes salty because of its high sodium content, and we also know that life began and emerged from the salty oceans. So salt water is kind of like the lifeblood of Mother Earth. So within that context, that is an interesting sort of way to understand and work with the elemental frequency of salt in a magical practice. Salt is also used to preserve foods and keep them from spoiling, and this is also a nice metaphor or a reference for how to work with salt magically. So we can use it to preserve our own personal energy and to keep us from being drained by others. We can also use it to cleanse and purify objects and spaces, to banish disruptive energy, as well as to protect our own energy and our own spaces. So salt has a long history of magical use within Europe, especially within England, Scotland and Wales. And it was actually one of the magical ingredients prescribed in the 11th century, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, acerbotte charm, which was used to remedy fields that had been yielding poorly. So if we go back to our previous discussion about salt, kind of bringing this vital life force energy, it makes sense that it would be included in a magical charm that was intended to revitalize and sort of bring back health to barren fields that were yielding poor quality crops or no crops at all. Sorry, that's my kitten sneezing on the floor. So some of the ways that you would use salt in your magical practice could include, and I actually like this one, this one's very powerful but simple, is you can, if you feel like your energy is being attacked, you can just throw a handful of salt into a fire. Of course, for this you need to have a fireplace, and normally it might be winter or something, so you have to be creative if this isn't practical. Some witches protect their homes by pouring a defensive symbol in salt just outside of the entry door. So you can think about this like what would be a rune that intuitively makes you feel protected, or work with some other protective symbol and just pour that with salt outside of your front door. Fun fact, since the 1500s, it's kind of been documented that there is a belief that carelessly spilling salt will bring you bad luck. So I think for me that kind of reaffirms, the preciousness with which salt was regarded. So the remedy for this, if it happens to you, is to quickly take a pinch of the spilled salt and throw it over your left shoulder. So to cleanse a magical item, you can bury it in salt. This is an incredibly powerful, intensive cleansing method, and obviously it's only recommended for items that will not corrode when they are in contact with salt. Another thing you can do is, if you're doing a spell or some kind of rite or ritual that's lasting over several days, is you can kind of preserve and set the magic of that spell by laying a circle of salt around the physical components of the spell. So that way the energy is going to stay contained, and then when you've finished your work after those days are over, you can open up the salt circle and kind of really release the energy. You can also add salt to your bath to purify and cleanse. You could keep a few salt crystals in your purse or pocket to protect yourself from disruptive energy when you're out and about. You could keep a bowl of salt by your front door to absorb and the disruptive energy, either that's clinging to you from being outside in a stressful environment, or from those who enter into your home. This is actually a really nice one. I'd like to do this. You can also sprinkle salt into the corners of your home to protect against negative energy or disruptive energy. Again, you can use a tiny amount. Don't think you have to have like a pile, a pile of salt. Magic doesn't have to be worked in a literal sense. We're talking about like very, very subtle, ethereal frequencies a lot of the time as well, where a homeopathic dose is more than sufficient. You can also mix a homeopathic amount of salt with water and put it in a spray bottle, and it can be quite a powerful and protective sort of energetic body aura cleansing type of spray. So as you can see, salt is really versatile and it's really powerful, and you can use it in so many different ways in your magical practice. So I hope this video was helpful to you, and let me know, do you use salt in your magical practice, or maybe you're planning to? So I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments.